Hey guys, I thought I'd talk a little bit about one of the most challenging but rewarding cards in the deck, in my humble opinion, and that is Devil's Touch. Devil's Touch is the card that looks greenish, and it's the little guy with the two green swords in his hands. And that one, the definition of that card, it says that it deals 15% health damage to the enemy, costs 30% mana, and it does 15% health damage when the enemy attacks you. Duration is 15 seconds, and there's 2 uses in this card. Now, the tips and tricks I'm about to give you, I'm not a moderator. In no way do I claim that I'm an expert at these cards or at this game. These are just some of the knowledge and tips and tricks that I've discovered as a player when I'm out on the field in the game. If you have any further questions after you watch this video, I would relay them to your overlord or your elder, and they can send in a message to Necro for you to try to answer your questions. But this is just some of the knowledge that I've discovered as I've been playing the game through a lot of trial and error. This card has taken me weeks upon weeks to figure out and test. So I want to go over some of the things that I've discovered so far about the card. So basically, my definition of the card is you basically drop it and they hit you with the sword and they end up damaging themselves a crazy ton. They can, if you do it right, they can damage themselves up to 30%, which is a crazy amount for a card. Just for one card, that's a lot. But there's a lot of hitches with this card and a lot of different things that you need to be aware of when you're using Devil's Touch. So first I want to talk about how to use it against other players, and then I'll go back and talk about what to do if someone uses it on you. So the first thing you're going to want to know when you use it against other players is that they get notified. So the person that you target for this card, as soon as you drop that card, they get notified and they know that you use the card if they're watching chat. So that's something to keep in mind. You really want to time this card perfectly. Basically, you want to drop it right before they're about to hit you with the sword. If you're kind of far away and you drop it, that gives them time to see the card, that gives them time to not hit you, run away, etc. So you want to time this perfectly when they're about to swing their sword and hit you. Okay, so that's the time frame that you wanna try to drop it right before they hit you, and then you want to stand real close and make sure that they are able to hit you, because you want to try to get them to hit you at least twice within those few seconds to get the maximum amount of damage, which is 30%. Okay. So, and as well, keep in mind that, when they're hitting you and damaging themselves, they're still damaging you. So I would advise to drop as well, especially if you're in a group fight and there's more than one person coming at you. I would drop Laud's Armor, and that card is the one that does, it makes it so enemy hits are only 1% damage. Let me bring that up here. Yeah, so it's 1% damage for 15 seconds. So while they're trying to hit you, your damage will be reduced to 1%, while they end up taking 30% from that card, okay? So that's just another tip that you can use when you're using the card. So you want to kind of stand there so they can easily hit you, and you can still hit them and do even more damage on top of the 30, and then you're only taking 1 if you also drop Laud's Armor, so keep that in mind. So then the next thing that you want to be aware of, just a couple tips and tricks that I've learned along the way, is to always pay attention to the chat so you don't miss a notification when someone uses it on you. Another tip is that you really want to use it against somebody. You want to make sure that when you drop that card, that person is already targeting you, trying to hit you. So if they're trying to go for someone else in a group battle and they're not even going for you, that's not the time you want to use Devil's Touch. You want to make sure they're actually trying to hit you at that time. Otherwise, it won't do anything. It'll just be a waste of 30% mana. Another tip that I learned this the hard way, it was pretty embarrassing, is I casted Wall Protector on myself, okay? And then I casted Devil's Touch, and the enemy hit me. And I just kept thinking, oh, well, even though the shield card's up, it's the Devil's Touch is gonna work anyway, right? No, it doesn't. So if you have the shield card, which is Wall Protector, I call it the shield card. If you have that casted on yourself, and you throw Devil's Touch and they hit you, even though you did everything correctly, it will not work. So keep that in mind. Okay, so the other thing that you are going to want to be aware of is that when someone uses it on you, how to go about dealing with that, okay? So keep in mind, you're going to get a notification, so make sure you're reading the chat. As soon as you see that, get the heck out of there. Don't go near them. Don't even be tempted to hit them. And that card lasts, let me inspect here again one more time, 15 seconds, okay? So for 15 seconds, you do not want to hit them. Otherwise, you'll damage yourself. And you'll always be notified. Keep an eye on the chat. The only time I really haven't been able to run away is when people time this card really, really well and they drop it right as I'm about to hit them, which is how you're supposed to do it, okay? So they did it correctly and they kind of screw me over because by the time that I even read the chat, I'm already hitting them and then it ends up insta damaging me, okay? So keep that in mind. So if someone uses that on you, always be mindful. Try to run away if you can. Don't hit them and you'll be fine. Other than that, though, that's basically the premise of what you need to know about this card. It's pretty good. You can see me using it in this video. But I did screw up a little bit. I didn't hit them enough while they were hitting me when I cast it. So I still damaged them a crazy ton. But unfortunately, they also damaged me because I didn't cast Laud's Armor and I didn't hit them while I was standing there. So I could have definitely improved. But that's okay. It's a learning experience. That's what this game is about. This game has been going through a lot of crazy changes lately, and I also wanted to kind of recognize some of those changes that were happening. There's been a lot of updates lately, and that's really, really, really a lot of good changes. I've been seeing more fights happening, more stuff happening. This game is becoming more and more exciting every single day. There's been so many great changes, and better players are joining. People that used to not fight are suddenly fighting. They're practicing. They're getting better. Kingdoms. There's new kingdoms coming out of nowhere. Like, who is this Gabriel guy? He's really good. I've never seen this guy before, before this week, and he's really good. So this game is definitely improving a lot, and it's really cool to see some of these awesome changes happening. And I definitely wanted to give some of these card classes just so that you guys can learn the cards, get to know them, start using them out on the field. And we're going to have a lot of fun. This is great. I hope this video is helpful. If you liked it, you can follow my channel. If you have any further questions, reach out to your elder. I hope you guys have a great day.